Welcome to Transmissions, where we talk all Hasbro, Takara, and third-party Transformers. On this episode, we have a new champion for the world's largest Transformers collection. Dr. Wu is downsizing to Micromaster scale G1 figures, and sadly, business was definitely not booming for Hasbro last year. Today is Wednesday, February 21st, 2024, and this is episode 578 of Transmissions.
Welcome to Transmissions, the podcast that's planning on setting up a GoFundMe to pay all our legal bills. I'm your host Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
How else are you supposed to pay your legal bills? Let's talk Transformers.
As always, we start the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you all so much for continuing to support the show and help us out keep this thing going. If you'd like to become a Donatreon, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. That's where you can sign up. And, we get lots of perks. You get access to our bonus content. That includes our bonus show, We Like Big Bots, done by Daryl and Dr. Pants. Got 12 episodes up, ready to go, so you can view those all from our Patreon page, and more will be coming at some point in the future.
Eventually.
We've also got our Transformers Live Play RPG podcast, Empire of Rust. Currently, we have our special bonus show, The Rustford Files, and that's coming to a close next week with episode 12. Currently, episode 11 is up, The Snake Machine, and episode 12 will be coming next Monday. And then, 2 weeks from there, we will have the season 3 of Empire of Rust, so the return of the main show and the return of the main cast of characters. Of course, we've still got our exclusive Skybound Transformers #1 comic with our cover art by EJ Sue. That's available at transmissionspodcast.com/comic. And if you order it for TFCon LA pickup, you can get it signed by artist EJ Sue, who will be there at TFCon LA. So please check that out. And of course, you can still order it, and we will ship it to you. If you're not going to make it to TFCon LA, we'll still send it out to you. And this month we've got our Toy Hacks code for getting 50% off our Toy Hacks. At toyhacks.com. Use our code LOVETFs. Valentine's Day might be over, but love is still in the air. So we still love Transformers. So use that code LOVETFs, 15% off. At toyhacks.com. All right, let's start off the show and get into Toy Talk. And we're going to start off with HasBlab.
All right. So, little over a week after funding for the Omega Prime figures itself, we have passed the first tier. 13,000 backers was reached. I believe it was on Thursday or Friday of last week, and that unlocked the Matrix Blade, which is an almost 2-foot tall sword. And it's a great thing to be plowing through these tiers, but now we are getting close to the only other tier in this HasLab. I'm really hoping they surprise us with something else, but if we pull up the current count, and we are at 14,033 as we are recording this Sunday night. We need to hit 16,000 for the two bases, like the two stands. I imagine with the 25 days left, we're gonna hit that pretty soon. And I don't know if they've been in this situation before where there is such a significant amount of time remaining in the campaign, and they're almost gonna be out of tiers to hit. So, I mean, before we move on, Charles, Darrell, what do you think? Do you think they're going to surprise us with something, add some tiers, or is this going to be it?
They might throw something in. I mean, they did. That's what they did. They did with Thesaurus, where they tacked in those Micromasters after the first two tiers were passed. So if they can put something that's like an already existing mold or something, they might already have something ready to go.
You know, they did do a line of Micromaster figures during the RID. Like it was, I think there was a line of Micromasters in the show. Maybe they could find some of those molds. I think it was just reused G1 Micromaster molds anyway.
But
Sounds
would
like
that
a good
be
candidate.
enough? Like, I mean, you're the big RID fan here. Some would say the biggest, but some may argue that I have more RID toys, so I may claim that as well. But I'll give it to you. You know, just for tonight anyway.
I have the DVDs.
Well, that's something. What would you want to see as an additional tier here? Like adding Micromasters has been done.
Yeah.
You know, they've done it twice. You know, it was part of the campaign for Star Saber, and was added bonus for Deathsaurus. You know, sure, it's nice to get them, but it's not something that it's not something that I look over at my Deathsaurus and say, "Oh my god, I'm so glad I got these two Micromasters. They're so cool." Right? What would you want to see, Jeremy, as the RID super fan you are, added to this, you know, campaign with, you know, let's say 20 days left?
I mean, with like a dream wish would be another deluxe figure. I don't think they're going to do that. But I mean, we know that there is likely going to be at least a sideburn coming because we had that slipstream, but obviously the mold was meant for sideburn as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them taking that out of mainline, putting it into here. That's just throwing away money. But
what if they did an exclusive one? What if they did the red colored one?
That would be nice. That, I mean, do any of the three Car brothers in their super mode colors? I think that would be great. I doubt that they would do something that requires that much engineering as an add-on, but I would love that. Beyond that, I don't know. I mean, it's hard, especially with the news we have coming up on the financial stuff. Knowing the reality and knowing what I want, they don't really mesh.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they could throw in another deluxe class figure of like one of the Car brothers. I think that would be the optimal thing to add, and that would actually boost, I'm sure, the numbers of people that order this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, getting 2 commander class and 2 deluxe figures, you know, that's an amazing deal.
Yeah, I mean you're looking at it here. This figure is fairly self-contained. You know, once you've got it, you've got the 2 commander class figures. Honestly, the deluxe out of the gun is just kind of a bonus. It's
Right.
You know, you're not really going to do anything with blue bolts because it's just a gun that they made, you know, turn into arms and legs, right? So so you're not really going to do a whole heck of a lot with that. But you know, adding another deluxe to it, that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, and if you had Magnus in the vehicle mode, they said it'll hold 3 deluxe figures.
Yeah. Yeah. So that'd be kind of fun. So you'd already be one on the, you know, the deluxe side. So that'd be kind of neat. For me, I'm still on the fence whether I'm even going to do this or not. But making it a little bit more appetizing to someone like me, that'd be a big push to the get it side.
I found out next week. I mean, it'll probably be up to the second tier by next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is all we have in HasLab this week. So we'll see next week where we are.
All right, let's move on to some quick hits.
All right, and we are going to start off this week by talking about the Guinness Book of World Records. And this thing the news about this made its rounds around social media this past week. And we got a new champion. Mike K got named the owner of the world's largest Transformers collection. And he is from San Diego, California. And he is a proud owner of 10,568 individual Transformers items in his collection as of September 30th, 2023. No
relation to David K.
No.
There's I wonder if there's a chance that he'll be at TFCon LA, Charles, because there's a picture here with another gentleman who's wearing a TFCon LA shirt. So I think there's a pretty good chance we might see him there.
It's like a 3-hour drive from San Diego to LA.
Yeah.
So
this is pretty cool. According to the article, this collection is worth over $300,000, which I do not doubt. You get some of these old collections. If you look at some of the pictures, if Jeremy's going to scroll through some of the pictures here, if he can,
I don't have.
Yes, this article does not have the pictures readily available.
TFW.
Right. Some of these this gentleman owns a significant amount of in-box figures, which I give a lot of respect to. That is a lot of G1 in-box. Is an entire wall of in-box stuff, like a store. It looks it's a lot of pieces. It's a lot of stuff. Yeah. So
I see a couple of those RID Micromasters up there.
Yeah. So, game recognizes game. I can definitely appreciate this. I had at one point, the wall that sits right here beside me was all like pegs and stuff. And I made it like, people would come down and say, your room looks like a store. And I said, yeah, that was kind of the point. That's kind of what I wanted it to look like. And then it got a little overwhelming and I had to take it all down. But this is an impressive collection. And this is all due, I think, in response to the fact that the previous record holder essentially got the record because nobody else had it. So they just kind of contacted Guinness Book of World Records and said, I think I've got the biggest collection. And they went there and said, okay, you guess you do. And this was a gentleman with 5,150 pieces. And that so the new champion here, Mike,
there was
absolutely
destroyed. There was a guy before him.
I think it went back and forth a couple of times.
Oh, did it?
And then this guy is just like, no, let's set the bar pretty high.
Yeah. So this one has absolutely slaughtered the previous record of just over 5,000 pieces. So yeah, this is pretty impressive, and it makes me want to count my figures and stuff, my memorabilia. I mean, does it include like individual stickers? Like, I mean, I've got Transformers stickers and stuff. Do I count those individually? I would assume so. So, I don't know, but it's a lot of work. I don't have the time. It's ridiculous, but congratulations to Mike. I hope to see you at TFCon LA, and then I can ask you if they actually do count stickers individually.
Hey, Jeremy, he said, like when he was a kid, his favorite figure is God Jinrai. And when he was 5 or 6, he was very sick one day and stuck in bed, and his mom brought out a box Power Master Optimus Prime to make him feel better.
That is a mom that deserves all the Mother's Day presents.
There's a mom who walks into this room that he's in and says, "Oh my God, what did I do?"
Yeah. When I was sick, my mom came in with a bowl of soup and some toast.
Your mom just didn't love you as much as this
Apparently
guy's
not.
mom loved him.
Definitely. Yeah. It's obvious.
Okay, next up we've got more Flame Toys Curry models. One is Ultra Magnus, and this looks very much like the IDW More Than Meets the Eye Ultra Magnus, designed by Nick Roche and Alex Milne. So if you were looking for a figure to capture that particular Ultra Magnus, here it is. These are non-transforming figures, but they are very detailed, very stylized. We've also got a Starscream on the way, also in this line. These are not the kits. These are the high-end, expensive statue figures for the Kuri line. So these look pretty nice. And Starscream looks like this is a for all the Starscream lovers out there. This looks like another one to add to your collection. I wonder if he will come with a crown. Doesn't at least the pictures here don't seem to show him with a crown yet, but you gotta get the crown, right? Crown and cape.
There's
Obviously.
it doesn't look like it in this little bitty picture of the accessories.
No. Okay. I mean, he's still cool without the crown and cape, but you know.
Yeah, that's
We also have a Shattered Glass Megatron that is coming soon. That was shown at the Winter Wonderfest. So we don't know when that's coming out. I think that's a little bit further down the line, but also looks cool.
I did see Nick Roach on Twitter when this Magnus was announced, saying that he didn't have a hand in designing this figure, but he would love to work with Flame Toys. So if Flame Toys is listening, reach out to Nick. You want someone to design amazing figures. There's one of your guys.
Yep. You're already using their designs anyway. You
Right.
might as well invite them to help you out there.
Mhm.
All right, next up, we have some Dr. Wu new figures. These are DW E25 and E26, as well as E27 and E28, which are recolors of these same figures. So it's E25 is Microscope and E26 is Grapple, which these are Perceptor and Hauler. I'm not sure how they get away with the Grapple since that's also a character name. But these are Micromaster scales, and show some of the pictures here.
I think Grapple's too generic, so they can't really trademark it. I think they probably trademark like Autobot Grapple or something.
Yeah, that's probably right. So, I mean, these are fully transforming little bitty figures. I think these are smaller than your typical Micromasters. I think these are the website here says Micromaster, but I think these are the really tiny Dr. Wu figures that we've been seeing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they look really good. Perceptor looks as much as a microscope as a G1 figure ever did. And then he has that cannon mode. But the robot mode, I think, really shines, particularly on Perceptor. And then the other ones we have here are the Black Mirror and Crane Hook. And that's a black version of Perceptor and, or I guess, Magnificus, and Grapple. So Crane Hook is actually Grapple. Grapple is Hauler. But these are the same figures, just different colors, and these are all going to be 2-packs. So that is how those really small ones are sold. So I think this is really cool, though. I love these figures. I have a couple of them, and Dr. Wu does a great job on these little tiny figures. So if you want to get something just to kind of be able to keep in your pocket and then just pull out and fiddle with, these figures are really great for that.
Well, I'm not a fan of them swapping the color schemes for what the two packs. Like most people I think would want a grapple colored grapple and a Perceptor colored Perceptor and not have to buy both two packs to get the colors that they want.
Have you heard capitalism, Charles?
I think if they did this on purpose, Charles.
Yeah, I know they did it on purpose. I can still complain about it. I'm complaining about it on purpose.
Yeah, but anyway, they're not super expensive either. I think the 2-pack I got with I think it was Soundwave and Beachcomber, I think. And it was only like $40 for the two. So they're not expensive either.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, we are going to jump over to Magic Square, and we are going to talk about some new Dinobots that are going to come out in Legend scale. So we are first going to look at the Magic Square's version of Sludge. And so Magic Square has been really kind of hitting it out of the park recently, and they have obviously gone ahead and decided they're going to do the Dinobots. And all we've got here are great prototype images. And I wouldn't even say prototypes. These are like CG renders. So these are probably still pretty far off. But we're taking a look at them anyway, because that's what we do. The last company to do Legend scale Dinobots was New Age, and they went pretty well. Last I checked, they were selling like gangbusters out there, and obviously New Age does them in like every other color too. So I would expect these to go very, very well. From what I can tell, the transformation looks extremely G1 accurate, and the figures look awesome. So let's jump over to the second one revealed, and this is Grimlock. And I mean, this is G1 Grimlock. It looks fantastic. So, I mean, I don't know what else you want to look at as far as, what you want to expect from a G1 Grimlock. They look fantastic, and these are just going to be in Legend scale. So, recently I've been getting a lot of Magic Square stuff, and they've all been great. So, I have a lot of faith in Magic Square to do a really good job on these. And yeah, I look forward to them. I honestly have been looking for a reason to kind of get a Legend scale Dinobot team. So this may be my reason to jump in on them. So yeah, and looks like they're only doing 3 right now, but the rest of them are coming for sure. So
yeah, and I don't know who that third one is going to be.
I have no idea. It's in silhouette, so you can't tell.
Yeah. Maybe Devastator. I don't know.
It could. I mean, it looks more like Megatron, really.
Yeah, but it looks like they're going with a cartoon kind of design with these.
Yeah,
I think it works really well.
Yeah,
it's clearly Paddles.
Oh,
Paddles wasn't in the show. You're ridiculous.
He was off camera a few times.
Okay, so over on Instagram, our favorite designer Mark Mayer, has been giving us some behind the scenes looks at the newest figures that were announced. We've got our Triple Changer Sandstorm. We've got lots of pictures of him in action, in robot mode, and in helicopter mode, and in dune buggy mode. This figure looks really nice. I think this might be a pickup for me, just to capture my nostalgia from the youth when I had this Triple Changer in my collection. So might want to recapture that. But he looks really good. He's got that extra accessory, I guess, to justify the leader class price point, with the little rescue cage, and that I guess it turns into like a shield and everything. He looks nice next to fellow Dune Buggy Beachcomber. So they've got the I guess was that an Earthrise Beachcomber there? That
Kingdom, or I can't remember
Kingdom?
which one he was in.
It's the newest one. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever that one is.
Yep.
Legacy. Probably Legacy.
No. Okay. Yeah, but this Sandstorm looks really nice. Yeah, I see. So there's some discussion on the Instagram comments about the toy head versus the cartoon head. I think I would have preferred the cartoon head, but you know, I think it still looks good.
I'm interested to see how those. It says the tires are like PVC rimmed, like rubber. I never saw the Beachcomber, so I'm wondering how well that feels. If it's any different from just the plastic.
It feels real good.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels nice. Really nice.
Right.
That's great.
Mark also put up another gallery for Silverbolt. This is Legends Silverbolt, not the G1 Silverbolt, but the Beast Wars Silverbolt. So you can see this figure. This looks really nice. It looks like it's pretty close to the original G1 Beast Wars Silverbolt figure. Here he is with his girlfriend Black Arachnia, which I believe that's Kingdom Black Arachnia, I believe. So you can see this figure will fit nice in with your Neo Beast Wars figures. If you were collecting all the Kingdom Beast Wars figures, this will probably fit right in there.
I like how he had that stand with the Autobot logo, and he just took one of those patches from the Rise of the Beast premiere and stuck it on the back. So he has the Maximal logo.
Yep. Mark's clever. That's why he designs all the Hasbro toys. No shade to all the other awesome designers at Hasbro that we know and love on the live streams there. But yeah, this brings back fond memories of the Beast Wars Silverbolt that I mean my brother had as a kid. And yeah, it looks good.
It's a nice pose here with, I think that's a bot dog toy.
Oh yeah. Tiger Hawk playing fetch with Silverbolt here.
All right. Next up, we have kind of off the wall. This is from the Bradford Exchange website, which wouldn't surprise me if you've never heard of it, if you're like under 60 years old. I don't know. It just seems like Bradford Exchange is a commercial I remember seeing when I was watching like game shows as a kid. But they have a new Transformers Autobot versus Decepticons wall clock. It's artisan crafted, officially licensed, and it costs $200. It's going to be released in April. It is very G1 themed. It's got the G1 renditions of all these characters, the colors, and it's got that split Autobot Decepticon faction logo that I think BotCon originally did, and then Hasbro's just used it a few times.
What obscure G1 characters are on this clock, Jeremy? Tell me.
No one you'd know. It's got Grimlock, Bumblebee, Optimus, Megatron, Starscream, and Soundwave.
Whoa! Look, so the E or F class characters here,
and then it's got the Matrix in the front, and the Decepticons cover the first half of the day, and then the Autobots cover the second half of the day. So, but I don't know. In terms of the way these characters look, I think they look pretty good. It's, they're all in robot mode except for Grimlock, who's in his Dino mode, which shows you that the people putting this together knew the forms you wanted to see of each of these characters.
That's always the way it goes.
Yeah,
Grimlock's always dinosaur mode.
that's what the people like. So
Back Omega Prime instead.
yeah, the faces are a little bit weird. I mean, this Megatron face is a little creepy, and I don't know the Starscream face as well. I don't know, but it's interesting. It's $200 if you want it. You know, follow the link in the show notes. If you
This is.
go ahead.
I mean, it's just kind of First of all, who's putting up wall clocks in 2024?
Yeah, I just realized that the Autobot Decepticon faction symbol is the pendulum.
Yeah. Does it need a It's probably a digital clock, right? That you plug in. It doesn't need a pendulum, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a regular like cuckoo clock kind of deal, right? Like just the cuckoo is you for buying it.
Yeah, and shipping and handling is going to be $26 as well.
Back Omega Prime. It's only a few dollars more. Back Omega Prime.
You get much more value out of Omega Prime.
Yeah.
All right. We are going to take a look now at what is this? Stock images? Yeah, we got stock images to talk about. Yes. These are of the Studio Series Gamer Edition Sideswipe. And I hate this figure. I hate it so much. I can't stand the feet. If you're looking at the images that we're putting on the screen here, the feet on this figure are horrendous. Jeremy, I'm going to ask you to do a little work here, but I want you to bring up Generations Fall of Cybertron Sideswipe. And that is what this figure is based on. They've obviously changed the transformation, and that's fine. You can do that. But the feet on the old figure are so much better. There you go. Look at that. Like, they don't have to be like amazing, but they're full. Like, it's a full foot. Yeah, I just this figure, this older figure is just far and away a better figure. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm not happy with the new Studio Series Sideswipe. I was a humongous fan of the Fall of Cybertron line when it originally came out. Yeah, okay, they're quote unquote chug scale, right? If that's still a thing. And Studio Series is its own thing, so it's it's supposed to be some kind of premier line, but this new figure has got some real garbage engineering on it, and I really would like them to kind of just take the old figure and kind of remake it. That's not going to happen because they've already got it out. But man, this old figure is far superior.
Yeah, going back to the new figure here, looks like they moved all the wheels to the shoulders and the back, whereas like they were in the feet and the forearms before.
Yeah.
So it's just different use of the mass.
Yeah. It's it's an obviously different transformation, and I can get that. I understand that. But God, that's just such an ugly looking figure.
He doesn't even have his like giant Gatling gun thing.
No,
that the original figure came with.
And if you played the game, you know that the gun that he gets, that you have with that original figure, is the gun that you end up using with Optimus Prime. So you get Prime's gun with Sideswipe. I don't know. I'm not a fan of this figure. It's got a faux chest, which we all hate. Right, Charles? We hate faux chests here. This is the anti-faux chest.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's another interesting. I didn't realize.
Yeah. So it's just I don't know. I can't. This is a definite no buy for me. And if I can slap it out of people's hands before they buy it, I'm going to do that too.
Just go to TFCon
No,
LA. You see somebody with it.
no,
No.
bad.
The Terry Tate
Let's go.
Transformer version.
Let's go walk around and we'll find the old one. It's better. It's much better. Anyway, I just had to go on the rant here. If you want to look at the new pictures of the new one, go ahead. The old one's better. Way better. Way, way better.
Daryl's opinion is clear. All right. Well, that's all our quick hits. Let's move on and talk about our main discussion topic.
All right. Better get ready. It's financial time. Hasbro did not do so well this first quarter, or this last quarter of last year. Hasbro lost $1.06 billion in Q4. This says despite profits from Wizards of the Coast. This largely comes from the sale of E1, from what I can tell, because they took a huge loss from what they bought E1 for and what they sold it for. But Hasbro, let's see, the consumer products, including toys and the non-Hasbro games, lost 126 million, and just company-wide sales were down 23%. So, you know, this is, they did have a few small bright spots there, like digital gaming. Baldur's Gate 3 was a huge hit. Charles, I'm sure you can attest to that.
Yeah, it's and I still haven't bought it yet, so they've still got one more sale coming for it.
Oh, you got to play Portal first.
Is gonna $40 is gonna help.
Yeah. But another bright spot, I'm gonna go to this other this T-Formers page here. Transformers was plus 25%. So in addition to Wizards of the Coast and Magic the Gathering, Transformers had an exceptional year. So that bodes well for us as a podcast, so we can still have stuff to talk about.
I mean, is that not just the price increase? They just raised the price to 25%.
This is full year growth in Transformers was 25%. So they, you know, price increase, yeah, but they put out so many products and also so many repaints. I'm sure that also helps because the repaint is largely profit because the engineering's done.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, they had, I don't know, their franchise brands were down. So I guess that's things like Star Wars figures, you know, other things that they don't actually own the IP for.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't a lot of like Marvel and Star Wars media to back up a toy line.
Should just dump those.
Wow. But anyway, wanted to kind of talk about this and what you guys think. Another thing I saw, I don't know if it was in this article or not, but was they did, like, they mentioned, I can't remember how they put it, but essentially like the stuff we were seeing at the discount stores might have been coming from Hasbro, not the stores like Walmart, you know, in terms of just kind of getting rid of excess inventory. So I'm not sure if we should expect that in the future as well. But this last year, we saw more than normal go to things like Ross and TJ Maxx and stuff. So I think if it were me, what I'm thinking is they're likely to more scale down the lines, so they won't have to do that as much going forward. But they're clearly going to be making cost cuts, and you know, I think we've already seen some of that. But Transformers, I would hope, isn't going to be affected as much since it's clearly one of their strongest brands. So, I mean, what do you guys think about all of this?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, I don't have any data to back this up, but I think it feels like toys are going the way comics are going, or comics have gone already, where, comic books used to be for kids, cheap. It was cheap entertainment for kids that kids could afford, and kids were the primary audience. And there were, of course, there were adults who continued to collect comic books, but they were the minority. And each successive generation would continue to fuel the industry because the kids would keep buying comics. Now, comics are largely an adult thing, and the market has shrunk to reflect that because it's, a much smaller fraction of adults who buy comics than kids. And where the comic industry has shrunk as a result of that. um I see toys going the same way. Kids just don't play with toys like they used to, and the market for toys is continuing to shrink. I mean, we've lost the only major toy retailer in the United States that was still primarily selling toys. Um, of course, I mean, you could argue that that wasn't a natural loss. That was kind of, hedge funds basically hollowing out a business and then selling it for parts. So that was kind of, not really due to market demands, just due to, some greedy CEOs or whatever. Because Toys R Us is still thriving in Canada, right, Daryl?
Well, I was in one. I was in one yesterday, and it has changed significantly. Um, my Toys R Us that I used to work at is now selling furniture and DVDs and records.
Well, I mean, Best Buy is getting out of the media business. So.
Is it still calling itself a Toys R Us, or is it just
Yeah,
the building?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't bode well. I mean,
Yeah.
there are a lot of record stores like and stuff like that and we saw it with EB Games, which is now GameStop here in Canada, that they come stores like this who are primarily in the one field like gaming. We were a game store. Well, that doesn't work anymore. It has to diversify, and a strict comic book store cannot just sell comics and survive anymore. You have to be a gaming store as well. You have to do other things. You have to be into collectibles as well, right? Exactly. Because these, if you do not diversify, you are going to be dead. And we're seeing this now with Toys R Us here in Canada, and some companies who are not successful at diversification are going to die. And frankly, the store, when I was in it yesterday, it looked like a store that was on the brink of death. They may be in the flux, portion of it. They may be just moving shit in and kind of just resetting up, but it's not looking good. It's kind of scary because here we are, it's February, and they've got a whole rest of the year to make it through because Toys R Us lives and dies on its Christmas seasons. And if they can't get to another Christmas season, then it's going to be trouble. And I don't know. It's just, it didn't look really good. What I wanted to say about the story that Jeremy was talking about, though, is that the Magic the Gathering stuff, I heard the exact same story talked about, but from a Magic the Gathering standpoint. And this year was a huge year for Wizards of the Coast, mainly because of their Lord of the Rings promotion. Not really promotion. They call it Universes Beyond, but they have a Lord of the Rings crossover set. So the same thing that Transformers does with their their collaborative stuff. Well, Magic the Gathering has been doing the same kind of thing, only it's an entire set, and Lord of the Rings kind of kicked it off. They've been doing other ones in the past, but Lord of the Rings was the big one. And they put in this promotion that there's going to be this 1-of-1 card that you could get. And the card was available. You could get a regular version of the card, but this 1-of-1 would be serialized. It would be a special card, and it would just be shiny. It would be a foil version, and people were buying boxes and boxes and boxes to get this 1-of-1 serialized card. It ended up being pulled here in Toronto, and then that person subsequently sold it to Post Malone for $2 million.
That's not sustainable, though.
But that is the thing, is Wizards of the Coast sees this and thinks, well, the next time we do one of these things, we're going to do another one of these 1-of-1s, and it's going to go the same way. It has to, right? History continues to repeat itself until, it's not going to be able to do that. It's ridiculous. Post Malone is not going to continuously step up to the plate and buy every single one of these for $2 million, right? Even he said it on an interview with what's his nuts, the guy, a Fear Factor guy, whatever his name is.
Oh, Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
Rogan. He asked him. He said, "Is that was that smart?" He's like, "It's probably not my best financial decision, but he's like, I wanted it, so I bought it." So Wizards of the Coast had a big year because of a few different things going their way, and a really popular set kind of getting scooped up by collectors. A lot of people were after this 1-of-1 card because they knew it was a $2 million card, right? Post Malone came out and right off the top and said that whoever pulls this thing, I want it. I'll pay you $2 million for it. Right. And yeah, so I don't see this foreseeable thing happening with Wizards of the Coast again. Right. They've, but Transformers doesn't have anything like that. They could. I've thrown this theory out before that, with Transformers Prime, if you remember, we talked about this, the first edition figures that they came out with, those things went off the shelves like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Just because it said first edition on it. And once they were gone, they were gone. It was done. That whole thing was done. And then, if they started kind of, it's not really serializing them, but it's kind of like, once this mold is done, we're not doing it anymore and it's gone. Get that shit out of there. But you can sell shit like that and you can get it put out in the market and have that stuff desirable by collectors, and you're going to have scalpers. Unfortunately, that's just the way it's going to be, but people are going to buy up everything because it's going to be one and done.
Scarcity.
It's a scarcity thing. Yeah. And you need to drum up business. If you need to sell Transformers, you need to create scarcity on this stuff. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like on the whole, though, the Transformers team has been doing a fairly good job. I mean, they've been doing a lot of characters people have been asking for, especially with the Legacy United line, kind of bringing in characters from various shows.
It's been great,
but we've been getting so many repaints, and that's always going to be the problem, where I think people like I miss out on, the regular Soundwave, but then the 40th anniversary comes out. I'm like, well, I can just pick up that one.
Yeah. But that's the thing is it's the Transformers team is satisfying the fandom. They're satisfying existing fans as well as everybody who's currently watching the shows. They're bringing those, they're satisfying all of those people, right? What the Magic of the Gathering people are doing is they're bringing new people in, right? All these Lord of the Rings fans saw, oh my God, there's new Lord of the Rings product out. I'm going to go buy it. Well, what's the game? Okay, well, let's learn this game. Okay, well, Magic of the Gathering stuff, their product is set up that you can just buy a box, open it up, shuffle it up, and play the game, right? And then they say, well, that was fun. What else can I do with it? Oh, well, there's 30,000 other cards that you can play. Just put one of them in here, take one of them out, and you're good to go, right? So that's fun. So then you can do that. But Transformers really isn't set up to bring new people in. They have a show that's good. It's fantastic.
We have the movie coming out, the animated movie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like, the new people are supposed to be the kids. Like, we're supposed to be getting kids playing with Transformers, and that doesn't seem to be happening, at least. And the other thing is, all the kid focused stuff in Transformers is the cheap stuff that isn't as well designed or engineered as the collector focused stuff. Like, they scrapped the legacy show that was gonna be a companion for this toy line after the War for Cybertron trilogy ended. So you don't have a show that's pushing these new figures, so kids or anyone else is not aware of these figures because there's no accompanying marketing for it. And then Earthspark is has its own line, but are kids getting those toys? Are kids playing with those toys?
I mean, the BotBots line came out well before the show, and that timing was just horrible.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think the toys are for kids. They've always been for kids. They're supposed to be for kids. The adult collectors are supposed to be the gravy. They're not supposed to be the main market segment. If they become your main segment, your segment's going to shrink drastically.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a problem for all the toy companies. If they're not
the
getting
issue is going to be getting kids
toys
off their phones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Kids don't play with toys anymore. Jeremy's got one right in the demographic.
Yep.
Right. And I've got one that's coming into it. Mine still plays with toys because he doesn't know how to use a phone. Right. But Jeremy, how often does your son gravitate to a toy?
Not often, unless he grabs a Nerf gun and wants to shoot something.
Okay, well,
I mean,
he
does occasionally come down here, and then when he's talking to me, he grabs off something back here and fiddles with it. But...
Yeah, it's a problem with the toy industry. It's going to die, right? We're just we are the generation of toy buyers that are the collectors right now are what's keeping it afloat, I think.
Yeah.
In
terms of bringing in new collectors, like with the collaborative stuff, they need to stop going after the G.I. Joe collaboration, which is in-house, or Universal Monsters, which is a small subset of a subset. You need to go for the bigger names, like, do a Knight Rider collaboration, even though Knight Rider's not big, it's got iconic vehicle, or find some other popular franchise. Like the Jurassic Park one was a great idea. There's still new Jurassic Park movies. Ghostbusters was great because there was a new movie coming out. Figure out these other things, like the Top Gun one was also bad timing because the movie was pushed, but more crossovers in the popular culture and not these like in-house stuff.
They should re-release that X-Men one in the next couple months because the X-Men show is coming back out. But I mean, just timing on those is. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Get some of those out. But again, these are all niche ideas, right? Like these are one-off figures, right? There's nothing that I think is going to save the the industry here and bring
force kids to care.
Really, they I mean, you need to find something that's going to get the kids to play. And I gotta say, this is something that's plaguing all of the toy companies right now. They have got smarter people than all of us combined trying to figure out how to get kids to play with toys again. And you cannot compete with that little phone in their hands.
My kid comes home, has a snack, does his homework, and then sits there with YouTube on the TV and he's playing a Switch at the same time.
Yeah. It's crazy. Right? It's crazy. I mean, that's a lot of screen time for your son. We should talk about that.
We're talking about it.
but yeah, so I mean, it's an industry wide problem. It's not just Hasbro. And I think Q1 of this year we're going to see more divisions line up a little bit more for Hasbro. But yeah, there it's interesting. There's more things coming out with Magic the Gathering that they're trying to recapture some of this stuff from last year, and it's insane. Like Magic the Gathering is absolutely insane with the amount of stuff that they throw out. So yeah, it's they're trying to recreate last year, and it's not going to happen. But whatever.
Yeah, and I think to wrap this up, I think this is obviously why those layoffs were so bad, because they had seen these numbers and trying to course correct. But sure. We'll just have to see kind of where like the ramifications of all those cuts, as the jobs still need to get done. But that is our discussion topic. Yay.
All right, well, let's talk about the toys we got and get into some trips to the store.
The Transmissions Podcast will return after these messages.
Trips to the Store is, of course, powered by our friends at TeePublic. You can get all our merchandise at our TeePublic store. That's at transmissionspodcast.com/TeePublic. You can get cool transmission shirts. I've got my Tape Man. Jeremy's got his Transmissions one, Transmissions Armada one. Daryl doesn't appear to have
Is
one.
that an Napoleon Dynamite?
Yes, it is.
Don't be like Daryl. Be like Jeremy and Charles. And get your transmission shirt.
Yeah, right on.
Of course, you don't have to get a transmission shirt. You can get any shirt at TeePublic. Just use our link, transmissionspodcast.com/TeePublic. Anything you buy through that link will help out the show. So
weather's getting warmer. Time to get some more t-shirts.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about the stuff we got. I don't have anything. I'm gonna go first. I don't have anything new this week, but seeing that Legend Silverbolt made me bring out my Silverbolt. So here he is. Yeah, as I've mentioned, this is actually my brother's Silverbolt, but he doesn't like Transformers anymore, so I got it. And it's a good figure. It's a little loose. I mean, it's 25 years old at this point, but it still has the little swords, I think. Oh no, they're not there. Never mind.
You are missing the missiles. Yes,
I'm missing the missiles. Sorry. But it's still a good figure. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and it looks like the new Legends figure is pretty much a very close design to that. It was designed by the same designer at Takara. So yeah, if you don't have this one and you want to get the new one, I think that's a good substitute. So all right, Daryl, what do you got?
All right. No new toys, but I do have some new comics. Because the issue 5 of the Transformers book came out last week, and I picked up my copy. So there's issue 5, and I bought the 1-in-10 ratio variant as well. So I am getting them the connecting covers for all of these here, which reminds me, Charles, you have one of them for me. So I wanted to remind you of that. I'm going to do that right in the middle of the show too. So just to make sure that gets done.
I mean, bring it to TFCon LA.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got. It's been a light week. There's no good toy coming out right now. I'm, nothing that I really want to back or anything like that. So it's, but yeah, no, it's, nothing I'm really interested in buying. It gets hard when you got almost all the G1s. What do you buy? So, you just wait. TFCon LA, I'm gonna probably buy some stuff there.
Maybe. Simple things. All right, Jeremy.
I also don't have toys, but I shared a couple weeks ago the puzzle that I got, the Super 7 puzzle, in its unfinished state, and my wife did 95% of the work on this. It's like shake and bake. I helped. I didn't really help a lot, but she finished it, and it looks really, really good. It's a really good big sized puzzle, but I think she's going to be putting it away. She doesn't leave the puzzles assembled, but I think it looked really good. Our biggest problem is that it's very dark. So lots of like black puzzle pieces or dark blue puzzle pieces, and it's hard to see what goes where. But I'm happy to have it done. That Japanese movie art just looks really good. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing I have is we talked about these Boy Scout patches, I think it was a week or so ago. And I ordered those too, and they came in. And these are the officially licensed Tope Lodge Order the Arrow patches. This goes on your pocket flap, and then this big one goes on the pocket. And just as a patch collector as well, that this is just, if it's two of my collecting desires. So, I got those. They were not that expensive. So that's all I got.
Super cool. All right. That's all for Trips to the Store. It's a light week. Yeah. I mean, we're not helping out Hasbro with their their toy merchandise problem. But we'll try and do better, Hasbro.
Well, if Hasbro does better, we'll do better.
Yeah, true. All right, let's move on with the rest of the show.
We now return to the Transmissions Podcast.
And that will wrap it up for this week's episode of Transmissions. No feedback, no convention news, so we're going to call it quits there. Thanks to everyone for watching, especially our Masterpiece Donatrons. These are the folks who continue to support the podcast at our highest level on Patreon, so that's why we give them a mention in every episode. So thank you once again to John Forex Levingood and Demon Tech 82. We really appreciate your support. And thank you to everyone for watching and listening this week. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.